Hello everyone. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the session. So we've had an eventful week. Okay, we've had this is our fifth class on decoding Aeon essays, and in the previous four lectures, I took up fresh, articles from the Aeon, and I helped you decode it. Today, I felt the need that we need to solve questions as well on them. Okay, so what better way to do that than actually pick up CAT previous year questions? Okay, so in today's lecture, guys, I'm going to pick up RC passages which have come from Aeon in the CAT examination. Okay, so these are PYQs which have been sourced from the Aeon. So welcome to the session, everyone. Hi, Sumant. Hello. Hello, Saksham. Hi, Arpit. Kaise ho guys aap sab? I hope all of you are doing well. Yes. Now, why do we say Aeon is an important source, guys? क्योंकि actually CAT passages इस source से आते हैं, and that's what we've seen. So आज का जो passage है, I've taken it from previous year CAT papers. जैसे 2022 में RC आया था वो Aeon से था, 2021 में जो RC आया था वो भी Aeon से था. Okay, great, Saksham. Good to know that. And Saksham, आप पूछ रहे थे CAT 2026 के preparation के लिए, तो आपके लिए batch, we've launched the MBA Prime batch. I'll brief you a little later about that. Okay, so right, guys, let's get started. So this is a passage. The name of the passage was okay. The name of the passage was the Chinese copy. Okay, so ये एक passage था, the Chinese copy, एक essay था Aeon में, and it was a very lengthy essay. वही same चीज, 3000 से 4000 words के बीच में. But for the exam, obviously they cannot give such a long passage, so they condense it. Okay, Arpit, हाँ कल भी आपने बताया था. I hope you get well soon. ठीक है, आप जितना सुन सकते हो, देख सकते हो, ट्राई कर सकते हो, करो, वरना इट्स ओके, यू कैन गो एंड टेक रेस्ट. ओके, राइट. सो गाइज, इस पैसेज को कंडेंस किया गया है टू रफली अराउंड 600 वर्ड्स. ओके, यू कैन सी गाइज, जब भी पैसेज में ना ये एलिप्सिस दिए जाते हैं, मतलब इसके आगे भी बहुत कुछ था. ओके, but they have cut out those paragraphs and they've kept only the most important paragraph. So यहाँ पर भी देखो ellipsis है. So that means you've not taken one continuous chunk. Okay, so maybe some वो 4000 word का essay में से they've taken some important paragraphs. So that's the purpose of these. ये dot जो आता है, जो continuation mark करता है, तो आप देखोगे यहाँ पर भी dot है, मतलब ये सारे consecutive paragraphs नहीं है. These are not paragraphs in the order in which they featured in the essay. सिर्फ important paragraphs को लिया गया है ताकि you can get about a 600 word RC passage and important questions as well. So आज क्योंकि questions है guys, this class becomes all the more important, and you will see first hand. I keep telling you guys, critical reasoning important है. Hi Lakshya, welcome to the session. So I keep telling you कि critical reasoning important है. But today you will see first hand with this RC, especially because they are all critical reasoning questions, all application questions. Okay. Okay, that I've not seen, Saksham. Maybe वो जिस source से आप वो passage refer कर रहे हो, उन्होंने वो add किया होगा. But CAT में as such ये punctuation नहीं आता है. Hi Renu, welcome to the session. ये dots, ellipses जरूर आते हैं, पर वो punctuation मैंने नहीं देखा है. Probably send me such an RC passage on Telegram. I'll have a look at it. Okay, hello Ruby. Hi Anurag. Good evening guys. चलो, all of you joined right on time. So चलो guys, शुरुआत करते हैं. ठीक है, 4 questions थे guys इस passage में. चारों questions जो थे वो critical reasoning based थे. Hi Kunal. They were all application questions. So questions पे बाद में आएंगे. Students का एक common question होता है कि ma'am, should we have a look at the questions first? I don't suggest that guys. It is just a waste of time, because anyway the questions are application in nature. Anyway the questions are critical reasoning in nature. You will have to read and understand the passage. You will have to infer. Okay, so arey Kunal, don't, acha, are you traveling? Hi Kanya. So don't read the questions first, directly jump to the passage guys. So let's start reading it. Okay, so मैं आपको दिखाऊंगी कि इसको कैसे solve करना है. So let's read this together. Come on. Okay, Kunal, do make sure to watch the recording. Okay, it's an important one. Chalo guys. The Chinese have two different concepts of a copy. Fang Zippin are imitations where the difference from the original is obvious. These are small models or copies that can be purchased in a museum shop, for example. So एक है Fang Zippin, यहाँ पे यहाँ पे जो है the copy or the imitation, the duplicate, जो replica है, it is very मतलब पता चल जाता है कि copy है, ये replica है, because उसका फर्क from the original, the actual is obvious. It's very it's obviously noticeable. Then the second concept is fujipin. They are exact reproductions of the original, which for the Chinese are of equal value to the original. So एक और टाइप का कॉपी है which is exactly मतलब एकदम ओरिजिनल जैसे ही दिखता है, ओरिजिनल जैसे ही लगता है, and for the Chinese the original and the copy both have the same value. Okay, it has absolutely no negative connotations. कोई भी negative connotation नहीं, अरे ये तो fake है, ये copy है, ऐसे कोई negative meaning, कोई negative connotation attached नहीं है. Connotations basically means meaning. Okay, मतलब आप उससे क्या, उस वर्ड से कैसा आपका फीलिंग रिलेट होता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल सिंपैथी का कॉनोटेशन पॉजिटिव है, पिटी का कॉनोटेशन नेगेटिव है. ओके, यस, the discrepancy or the difference with regard to the understanding of what a copy is has often led to misunderstandings and arguments between China and Western museums. Why? The Chinese often send copies abroad. ठीक है, कभी कभी म्यूजियम्स दे एक्सचेंज आर्टिकल्स, मतलब कभी आपके म्यूजियम से उठा के वहाँ पे डिस्प्ले करते हैं, एग्जिबिट करते हैं. सो चाइनीज वाले क्या करते हैं, दे सेंड द कॉपी इंस्टेड ऑफ द ओरिजिनल, वो लोग कॉपी भेज देते हैं. एंड इन द फर्म बिलीफ, मतलब उनका बिलीफ चीटिंग का नहीं है, बिकॉज दे फर्मली बिलीव that copy is not essentially different from the original. They give the same value to the copy and the original. The rejection that then comes from the Western museums is perceived by the Chinese as an insult. वो reject कर देते हैं, वो बोलते हैं कि नहीं copy हम लोग नहीं लेंगे. So then the Chinese consider that as an insult. Hi Ranjana. So after reading the first para and the last para are very important. Okay, I'll come to your question, Anurag. So first para and last para are very important. ये first para में we've got to know the main idea. ठीक है, इसमें मेन आइडियाज काफी सारे हैं इस पैराग्राफ में. सो आफ्टर रीडिंग द पैरा जस्ट रिव्यू फॉर अ सेकंड. सो टू टाइप्स ऑफ कॉपीज है, एक फैंजिपिन, एक फ्यूजिपिन. दिस इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द ओरिजिनल, दिस इज सिमिलर टू द ओरिजिनल, इक्वल वैल्यू टू द ओरिजिनल, एंड मेनी अ टाइम्स दे सेंड दिस ओनली ओके टू द वेस्टर्न म्यूजियम्स. वेस्ट वाले रिजेक्ट कर देते हैं कि ये कॉपी है, बट चाइनीज फर्मली बिलीव दैट द कॉपी एंड द ओरिजिनल इज द सेम एंड ऑफ इक्वल वैल्यू. ओके, डिस्क्रिपेंसी मीन्स डिफरेंस. Okay, discrepancy means difference. Okay, right. Arey Ranjana, I know this bug is going on everywhere, and everyone's saying that they are unwell. I hope you recover really soon, Ranjana. Nothing to worry. It's the season's effect, I guess. But आप rest लो, ठीक है? And okay, mid para, see, it depends from RC to RC, Arpit. Generally क्या होता है ना, first para और last para तो is very important always. First para also read it. Middle के paragraphs को we can skim and scan. Okay, Western मतलब West, like America, Europe, these are Western countries. China, India, we are all Eastern nations. So we come to the Eastern side. China is East, and ये America, Europe और ये सब West में belong करते हैं. Okay. The Far Eastern notion means belief of identity, is also very confusing to the Western observer. The 𝐼 shrine is, see, a lot of places I've seen that they tell you ignore examples or you ignore statistics. Guys, never ignore examples or statistics, because उसके basis पे questions पूछे जाते हैं. You will see in this case also, like, why has this example been given? What does the author want to prove with the help of this example? So the 𝐼 shrine is 1003 years old for the millions of Japanese people who go there on pilgrimage every year. मतलब वहाँ पे दर्शन करने जाते हैं. But in reality, this temple complex is completely rebuilt from scratch. मतलब पूरा breakdown करके from scratch, from zero, every 20 years. So it should be a 20-year-old temple, right? It should be a 20-year-old shrine. But उनके लिए ये 1300 years old है. So their notion, this kind of ये उनका belief system is very confusing to the Westerners. Yes, we'll see Saksham. Okay. The Cathedral of Freiburg Minster in southwest Germany, so this is west, is covered in scaffolding almost all year. Scaffolding आप देखोगे वो मतलब construction के लिए वो बांधते हैं ना, like those sticks and all of them, like ताकि structure एकदम खड़ा रहे. So matlab it's under construction, okay, almost all year round. The sandstone from which it is built is a very soft porous material that does not withstand natural erosion by rain and wind. After a while it crumbles, तो उसके लिए उसको scaffold में रखते हैं. As a result, the cathedral is continually being examined for damage and eroded stones are replaced. In the cathedral's dedicated workshop, copies of the damaged sandstone figures are constantly being produced. तो copies निकालते हैं, replace करते हैं. Of course, attempts are made to preserve the stones from the Middle Ages for as long as possible, but as some point out, they are removed and replaced with new stones. अब ये example क्यों दिया है? We'll see. अगर इस पे question है, we'll come back and check. ज़्यादा मतलब घुसने की कोशिश मत करो, reread करने की कोशिश मत करो. Just know that this para talks about the 𝐼𝐺 shrine, and this para talks about the Cathedral of Freiburg Minster. And they're basically talking about कि वहाँ पे replacement चलता रहता है, काम चलता रहता है, new stone से replace करते रहते हैं. So इन दोनों paragraphs को what have we done? We have scanned it. Okay. See, there's a difference between the words skim and scan. Skim matlab we are just focusing on some words and we are ignoring the rest. Scan means we've just quickly read it and we have gone ahead. If there's a question on it, we will come back and check. ठीक है, ज़्यादा deep में अभी आप infer मत करना. Question आएगा, we will anyway come back and read. Okay. Next one. Fundamentally, this is the same operation as with the Japanese shrine, except in this case, the production of a replica takes place very slowly and over long periods of time. So Germany वाले में वो एक नाम है उस shrine का, उस temple का. Okay, so बोल रहे हैं कि Germany, जापान में भी replace करते रहते हैं, है ना? Germany में भी replace करते रहते हैं. But in this case, in the case of you know ये जो replacement चलता है, replica बनाते हैं, it takes place very slowly and over long periods of time. Okay, I'll answer Anurag's question. नहीं, आप सबके मीनिंग याद नहीं कर सकते हो अनुराग, but that's what I said. You know, I've mentioned this in one of my lectures as well. I want all of you to keep a vocabulary diary. Okay, और आप लोग daily ऐसे readings करोगे, ऐसे passages पढ़ोगे. Daily you have to read articles ना from different sources. So keep a vocabulary diary. Any new word, any different word that you find, keep entering it. ठीक है, जितना register होता है उतना better है. But आप suppose psychology के passages हर हफ्ते 2 passages पढ़ोगे, you will get familiar with those terms over 6 months. So that's why we say daily reading is very important, Anurag. Okay. Right. In the field of art as well, the idea of an unassailable original developed historically in the Western world. Back in the 17th century. Okay. Now suppose you have not understood these. Like I'm showing you कि आप कैसे एग्जाम में करोगे. गाइस, जो लाइंस आपको समझ में नहीं आते हैं, जो वर्ड्स आपको समझ में नहीं आते हैं, एक बार उसको इग्नोर करो. आप बीच में बैठ के अगर उसका मीनिंग ढूंढोगे, उसको वोकैब सर्च करोगे, या एग्जाम में तो आप कर भी नहीं सकते हो वो, यू विल लूज ट्रैक ऑफ द इन्फ्रेंस. ठीक है, टिल नाउ वी जस्ट नो दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कॉपीज. we know that western notion of a copy and eastern notion of a copy is very different. ठीक है, and identity का notion भी दोनों में काफी different है. तो लेते चलो. इफ देयर आर क्वेश्चंस ऑन इट, मैं यही बोलती रहती हूँ, क्वेश्चन है आके चेक कर लेंगे, कोई पैसेज छुपा तो नहीं रहा है. बट यू हैव टू मिनिमाइज योर टाइम ऑन रीडिंग द पैसेज एंड जस्ट फोकस ऑन दैट 1 or 2 important points from each paragraph. Back in the 17th century, excavated artworks, excavation मतलब जो they dig and take it out, from antiquity. Antique means old, so ancient जो थे were treated quite differently today. They were not restored in a way that was faithful to the original. Faithful to the original मतलब एकदम original कैसा था वैसे नहीं करते थे. Instead, there was massive intervention in these works, changing their appearance. तो ये बात की जा रही है कि copy करते थे तो would they keep it like exactly like the original or would they change it? So there was massive intervention मतलब उसको change करते थे, intervene करते थे, खुद के designs कर देते थे, या they would change it. तो इसमें यही बात हो रही है कि over the time what has been the notion or what has been the belief regarding copies. Okay. It is probably this intellectual position that explains why Asians have far fewer scruples about cloning. Scruples basically matlab like hesitation. They say Asians are not hesitant about cloning क्योंकि उनको कॉपी अच्छा लगता है, वो कॉपी से संतुष्ट रहते हैं, उनके लिए कॉपी is the same value as the original. And what is cloning? Cloning is copy. So the South Korean cloning researcher who attracted worldwide okay is a Buddhist. He found a great deal of support from Buddhists while Christians called a ban on human cloning. So जो Eastern थे, जो Buddhists थे, they were okay with cloning, and the Westerners, the Christians of the West, they called for a ban on human cloning. So again, ये दोनों का mindset का clash बता रहा है कि Easterners are okay with copying, Westerners are not okay with this copy of the original वाला concept. Wang legitimized, मतलब उसको authentic बोला है, okay, his cloning experiments with his religious affiliation. So how did he justify his cloning experiments? Okay, done Arpit. I am a Buddhist and I have no philosophical problem with cloning. He says, in my religion, cloning is fine. I don't have a problem with it. And as you know, the basis of Buddhism is that life is recycled through reincarnation. Matlab, naya, reincarnation, rebirth. So in some ways, I think therapeutic cloning restarts the circle of life. Okay, now what is the meaning of the author when he says restarts the circle of life, therapeutic cloning? You don't infer. Guys, these are very important tips. Please note. अगर आप यहाँ पे बैठ के सोचते रहोगे, reread करते रहोगे, infer करते रहोगे, maybe your inference is not in tandem with what the author wants to infer. Maybe इस line पे कोई question ही नहीं होगा. So what we have done is we've just understood the main idea. It is not possible for you to understand every single word and to understand every single line. Okay, ultimately you will have to rely on the questions and the options and referring back. But did you understand the main idea? The main idea over here is that Easterners are okay with copy. They give the same value to the copy as to the original. And they are okay with cloning. और उनके जो shrines है, जो temples है, वो भी दिखाते हैं कि, yeah, they are okay with the, building it again and again and calling and giving it the same value, giving it the same treatment. The Westerners are not okay with cloning. They were not okay with copies. They give more value to the originals. Okay, and they've given two examples to compare and contrast this. वो Japan का temple shrine का and Germany के cathedral का. Okay, so we've understood the passage का mota, we've understood it overall. Now let's have a look at the questions. Based on the passage, which one of the following copies would a Chinese museum be unlikely to consider as having less value than the original? See, I always tell you, please focus on the question stems. Because वो लोग क्या करेंगे, एक simple सा question को, just to make it complicated, घुमा फिरा के, circumlocution, जो हम लोग बात करते हैं, घुमा फिरा के दिखाएंगे आपको. So, अब इसमें क्या किया है, मतलब काफी सारा unlikely to consider, not, ये सब use करके थोड़ा सा confusing कर दिया. That's why it's very important, guys, कि you read. See, which one of the following copies, this is an application question, it's a critical reasoning question. Which one of the following copies would a Chinese museum be unlikely to consider as having less value? मतलब इनमें से कौन सा will they not consider as having less value? Unlikely to consider मतलब not. So they will not consider that it has less value. उनके मुताबिक it is equally valuable. So which of these options would they consider as equally valuable? So unlikely to consider as having less value मतलब less value नहीं है. Less value नहीं है मतलब less value नहीं है मतलब क्या? अच्छा value है, equal value का ही है. Pablo Picasso's painting of Vincent van Gogh's original painting identical in every respect. Pablo Picasso's photograph of Vincent van Gogh's original painting printed to exactly the same scale. This is a photograph of a painting. This is a painting of the original painting and it's identical. Okay, see the features of the option. Pablo Picasso's miniaturized, मतलब छोटा version, mini version, otherwise faithful and accurate painting. So it's an accurate replication, but ये थोड़ा सा miniaturized version है. पेंटिंग है पर थोड़ा सा छोटा वर्जन है, थोड़ा सा मिनिएचराइज वर्जन है. Pablo Picasso's painting of Vincent van Gogh's original painting bearing Picasso's signature. इसमें पिकासो ने साइन कर दिया. नाउ अगर हम देखेंगे कॉपी और रेप्लिका में फॉर्म सेम है, तो फोटोग्राफ तो नहीं चलेगा ना, फोटोग्राफ तो नहीं चलेगा, पेंटिंग का फोटोग्राफ तो नहीं चलेगा. अब बाकी तीनों पेंटिंग्स है, ये पेंटिंग एग्जैक्टली सेम है, फर्स्ट ऑप्शन वाला. थर्ड ऑप्शन वाला पेंटिंग मिनी वर्जन है, और फोर्थ ऑप्शन वाला पेंटिंग पिकासो का सिग्नेचर है. सो विच वन इज वेरी क्लोज टू द ओरिजिनल? अगर ओरिजिनल से क्लोज है, आप देखोगे यहाँ पे द चाइनीज सेंट कॉपीज अब्रॉड इंस्टेड ऑफ ओरिजिनल्स. यहाँ देखो, exact reproductions of the original are of equal value. Exact reproductions are of equal value. Exact, I'm repeating it, exact reproductions are of equal value. Which of these is an exact reproduction of the original? Only then it will have equal value and not less value. What is the answer? Yes, very good, Saksham. What about the others? Guys, do you all agree the answer option is 1? Only one is the exact reproduction of the original, and therefore it is unlikely to have less value because it will be of equal value. Clear? Did you understand this? So that is why, Anurag, you see, I'm telling you this, see guys, एक hurdle ना आप लोग सब एक तो दिमाग से हटाओ. आप लोग सोचते हो कि जब आप passage कर रहे हो, जब आप practice कर रहे हो, you should already know everything. You know, you should know the meaning of that word. Yeah, you should know the answer. Yeah, you should have read this passage somewhere. No, because there are 6 months you're preparing, right? If you're preparing, that means there are so many words that you have not heard before, which you will hear in the journey of your preparation. So you should know that. You should note it down and you should learn it from them. So scruples अच्छा है ना अनुराग, आपने आज कर लिया तो आपको पता चल गया, अब एग्जाम में आएगा तो आपको पता रहेगा. So that's the point, guys. You will not know everything already. If you already know everything, then why are you, मतलब आप prepare ही क्यों करोगे? You can directly, you know, you don't need to prepare. So that is why you have to strengthen your vocabulary. You have to do daily reading. और वो process है, guys. वो journey है. जैसे quant में आपको कुछ अगर आपको मैं क्वेश्चन दे दूं, if you've never solved it before, you will not be able to solve it, right? आप पहले concept करोगे उसका. So that is why it's very important कि आप पहले concepts करो, आप पढ़ो. By 6 months you should get better at it. Okay, in this question, yes. So you're stuck between first and second option. So then you should go back to the para section. The para clearly says exact reproduction. Then you think कि painting का exact reproduction will be a painting. Photograph will not be an exact reproduction of the painting. So when confused between two options, either rely on the passage, एक बार check कर लो, or see which is applicable to the question. Okay, दो तरीके से you can be sure of your answer. Okay, next one. Which one of the following statements does not correctly express the similarity between the 𝐒𝐻𝐺 shrine and the cathedral? Does not correctly express. That means it's an exception question. मतलब 3 options will correctly express the similarity. एक option incorrect है. Okay, does not correct मतलब incorrect. Which option is incorrect? Both can be regarded as very old structures. Both will one day be completely rebuilt. Both were built as places of worship. Both are continually undergoing restoration. Okay, now guys, you tell me, what is the difference? Now again, you might be stuck between options. What should you do? You should go back to the passage and check. See, both are very old structures. एक बार check कर लो. This is also 1300 years old, right? वो देखोगे वो भी 1300 years old है, ये भी middle ages से है. So both are very old. Correct है. फिर it says both are places of worship. Yes, this is also a shrine. This is also a cathedral. So both are places of worship. Correct है. Then this says both are being rebuilt. ये every 20 years rebuild होता है. ये भी इसके stones वगैरह replace होते रहते हैं. Okay, अब आप ये option देखो. Both are continually undergoing restoration. Answer is this, guys. वो जो cathedral है, that is continually undergoing restoration. अगर आप देखोगे restoration मतलब सिर्फ ठीक ठाक करना, continuously आप कुछ ना कुछ repair work चलता रहता है, repair work. So जो cathedral है उसमें कंटिन्यूसली ये रिपेयर वर्क चलता रहता है, ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ईयर रिपेयर वर्क चलता रहता है, बट इसमें एवरी ईयर नहीं होता, ऑल ईयर राउंड नहीं होता, इट हैपेंस ओनली वंस इन 20 years. ये देखो, एक in this it happens only over long periods of time. So both are not under continuous restoration and repair. So what is your answer option? Your answer option will be 4. Clear guys? Did you understand this? Okay, right. Next 2 questions guys. Ye 2 questions and another passage I will show you. We will take it up. We will continue this in the master class. Okay, so YouTube session we will stop here. We will continue this next 10 minutes our discussion over the master class. So quickly guys, आपको नीचे description box में दिखा होगा कि mark your attendance for VRC master class. Click on that, join it, and we will continue it there. And we will understand the questions and I'll put it all into perspective for you. Okay, so jaldi se join karo everyone. And also sales on hai guys, 2 दिन की sale है. हाँ करेक्ट, सो एग्जैक्टली अनुराग, सो या तो क्वेश्चन समझना जरूरी है तो पैसेज में रेफर करना जरूरी है. तो जून के लिए सेल्स ऑन है गाइस, कैट प्रो वर्जन का आप देख सकते हैं, कैट प्लस वर्जन का भी देख सकते हैं, और दिस इज आर 2026 ऑफरिंग का प्राइस. अभी 2 दिन की सेल है, ग्रैब द ऑफर, यूज द कोड कोर MBA, एंड गाइस आई विल सी यू ऑल इन दी मास्टर क्लास. ओके, इट्स अ फ्री क्लास जो ऐप पे होती है. डाउनलोड द ऐप, click on the link in the description box and we will continue it there. Take care everyone, I'll see you there soon.